What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show. As always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles and a solution to someone's problem. I'm also a certified coach, also president and to Express Your Vibe Coaching and Communications. And this is the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. And we have two more friends tonight that are going to make it another epic conversation. And for one of them on here, she is a longtime friend, Nicole Franklin. And then for the first time, we have Maria Pusateri on, and they're going to be sharing with us about an incredible project called TITLE VII. And TITLE VII is a great piece of film that we're going to be looking forward to seeing in the very near future. But before we go any further, I'd like to say hello, Nicole, and hello, Maria. How are we doing?
Hello.
Great to see you. And I think we lost Nicole again.
We're doing great. I'm doing good. Maria looks
That's
great.
okay. While we're waiting to get Nicole back, Maria, can you give a little background about yourself for the audience before we talk about TITLE VII?
Sure. Well, I have a background in TV production and documentary production and then acting as well. So I really started my love for acting back when I was in my 20s before I got married, and I was studying at HB Studio in New York. Then I got married. I sort of had it on again, off again, love with that, and was in theater. And then I went back to it over the years, periodically. And this past year, I've been focusing on it a lot more. And I've been in some plays, some films, and Nicole's wonderful film, which we can't wait to share with you. As far as TV production, I got my start actually working on the job, learning all about field production at a cable channel. And then I did my own documentary, which I produced and directed. It's called Veto After. It's about my brother-in-law, who's a 9/11 responder, which I'm very proud of.
Wow.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It looks like we've got Nicole back. Nicole, can you hear us?
I can, yes. And I want to tell everybody, definitely, if you can, rent or stream Veto Ever After, Maria's film. It's really poignant. You know, it's a bit of history, of course, our history, and it's wonderful.
Nicole, and thank you, Maria, for sharing a little bit of yourself with us. Nicole, can you share some of yourself with our audience? You're not a stranger to the Dr. Vibe show, but it's been a while, so please share with us.
Just a little bit. Yes, you know, thank you so much, Dr. Vibe. I know you've had me on several occasions. I always appreciate chatting it up with my Canadian friends. Hi, everybody. But I'm a filmmaker and a writer, and I've been filmmaking for 16 years, going on 17 years in a couple of months. And grew up in news television, where I still freelance in news television as an editor. It taught me everything about filmmaking. And I'm a career documentarian. I've been doing documentaries since 1999. First one made its debut in 2000. I started out talking about or showing Black women and their joy with 3 films on double Dutch jump rope. So I introduced people to the double Dutch divas who weren't familiar with seeing them on film, and it kind of went from there. And all the sort of details are at NicoleFranklin.com. But I think what people who have been following my career will not be expecting is TITLE VII, because it gets really dark. We like to talk about people's, I guess, the entire part of being human, you know, and it comes with some ups and downs. And if you have a background that is not favorable to how you grow up, and you bring that to the job, you affect everybody else. You kind of infect the place. And so our film has all kinds of discrimination in it. TITLE VII covers, you know, racial and national origin, sexual, age discrimination. It's the 1964 law in the U.S. that prohibits it at work. So we had to just go there with the story. And it's really a doozy.
So, Nicole, let me ask you, what inspired you to do this project? Because as you mentioned earlier, you said this is totally different than probably anything you've ever done. So what inspired you to, okay, so Nicole can't hear me, so let's just see if we can get her back. Okay, we're back now. So Nicole, I just wanted to know what inspired you to do this project, because as you said earlier on, this is something totally different than what you've done in the past. So what inspired you to do this project?
Well, for one, I needed a micro budget film. I needed a film that was under $100,000 to shoot, to move my career forward as far as transitioning from documentaries to where I ultimately want to be working in the next few years, which is episodic television. And so I love my indie film community that I've grown to nurture and be nurtured by in New York City. It's just been fantastic to learn from primarily women, but a lot of men in New York City. And we all help each other and crew up with each other, hire the actors we know and things like that for a really strong project. And this was something when I was sent the book by Daisy M. Jenkins, an author in Arizona, where I just come from filming another project. He said, oh, yeah, I wrote a book. And I said, okay, I'd love to read it. And so I did. And it kind of hit home because it was about same-race discrimination at work. But then it was a toxic place. There was everything at this job. And I was like, I could feel some things in it. And I knew a lot of people could relate to it. If you've done any kind of 9-to-5 where you may have had some problems, just some personal problems. And I thought, hey, it's in one location. And that's what you need for a micro budget film, to keep it tight, one location, very few actors, very few roles that need to be cast. And you just kind of go for the intent of it. And all of our actors went for it. It's a 68-page script, so you got to keep the script pages low. And it was just a lot. Oh, there's our lead actress, Chicava, HoneyChild.
Hi,
and so it was really a great chance to work with friends.
It's hectic back there. I'll just close that one door. I'm in production.
That's our lead actress, Chicava HoneyChild, who's also a burlesque dancer extraordinaire. And we have some really talented people. So, and these are just two of the talented cast. We're so lucky.
Let me just bring Chicava in. Thank you so much for stopping by. Can you give a little background about yourself to our audience tonight?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Chicava HoneyChild. I play Hillary Kelsey, and I have to look up so many names. Hillary Kelsey in Title VII. I've been an actor for a good long while on hiatus as a burlesque performer. I have a company called Brown Girls Burlesque. We make theatrical and live jazz and blues burlesque shows here in New York City with a little bit of touring. And I was just thrilled to get to jump into the skin of such a terrific character.
Excellent. So, Nicole, I'll come back to you, then I'm going to go to Maria. Nicole, how did you find and meet both of these wonderful ladies?
I think we lost Nicole.
I think we lost Nicole again. Okay.
Oh, I'm,
okay, there we
I'm
go.
here.
Okay. So Nicole, maybe you didn't hear my question. How did you meet these fine and wonderful ladies?
If it's how I met them, again, that's part of the New York community and the love we have for, really getting behind strong work. And so I've known Maria. I don't even remember when we met, but I've known Maria for years through New York Women in Film and Television, also known as NYWIT.
Cine Women. What weren't you part of Cine Women?
I wasn't in Cine Women in New York, but I was in LA. So yeah, all these women's groups get together is great. And then I've known Chicava for probably longer. And I can't remember the origins of our meeting. I just know I've known her, and I moved to New York in '97. I think I met her not too long after. And so we've just always kept tabs on our careers, always been connected socially. I'm a huge fan of Brown Girls Burlesque. And I've actually had her in the director's lab with me. So I knew she was a talented actress too. And it was kind of about plugging people into something you knew they could do and really just amplify it through their performances.
Excellent. So let me ask Maria, when Nicole approached you about this opportunity, what was your first reaction?
I was thrilled. She told me she wrote the part with me in mind, which, you know, I mean, that's like such an honor. And then it started as a small part. And then she had a co-writer brought on, and they worked on it, and they really did a lot of changes. And all of a sudden, my part blew up, and it became this really big supporting role, which I was very happy about. So it gave me a great opportunity to work on this project. So I play Cheryl, who is a high-powered executive. I'm sort of Hillary's right-hand woman, I guess. And I'm fighting for my long overdue recognition.
It's going to be overdue until the office closes. She is not moving up.
And the same question for you, Chicava. What was your reaction when Nicole first approached you with this opportunity?
Oh gosh, my story is actually really terrific because last November, Nicole posted, "Hey, I'm going to do a micro budget," and I had managed to be in back in scene study a little bit last year, and I did a play, and I was like, "Oh my God, can I audition?" I didn't say can I have a part, because I just like, can I audition for something? Will you keep me in mind? And she wrote me back, you know, there's the way this is set up, the person is coming with the money and all this stuff, and there's only one role for a Black woman, and the job is taken. And I said, well, okay. Oh. And I wondered, like, what is Nicole up to that only has one Black woman in it? Just sounded like so out of Nicole range. But you go through it, and her fundraiser came up, and I was supposed to go to the reading, and she blocked my deadlines. I didn't make it to the reading, but I was like, I'll for sure make the Indiegogo. I'll make sure I make a contribution. And so then before I could even do that, she sends me a note like, are you going to be here this summer? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be here this summer. You want to read for the part? I'm like, oh, duh. Yeah, I want to read for a part. And she sends me this script, and she's like, you'll be reading for Hillary. And I'm like, well, you know, if there was only this like one role, like I wasn't expecting it to be the lead. And I read it, and I'm like, holy hootin' bootins. It's like Condoleezza Rice meets Olivia Pope meets Cookie. What a, yeah. And then I was like, oh my God, you have to like, how do you act again? Like, how do you do? I haven't done this job in a while. Like there's the feeling emotional part of it, but then there comes things like the nitty gritty of, oh yeah, you're going to memorize an entire script. How do you do that? Like you forget how to do that.
Wow. So Nicole, let me ask, when you chose these two individuals, were they your first choices of the people you wanted to choose for those roles?
We already had an individual cast for Hillary, as Chicava said, and it was somebody that I had recently met who is very prominent in the independent film space. And when you're looking for cast, sometimes you have to also look for bankable cast. And she was bankable, and the script, like Maria hinted, was very different. It was a lot softer, not so dark and dire. And she had been on for a long time as, okay, yeah, no problem, I'll do your project. And, she had name recognition, all that. So it was good. And I traveled with, fundraising and working with a cast in mind. And first, the guy who was to play the male lead, he calls me in like February. And we shot the film in July of 2016 this year. And he calls me and says, Nicole, I'm so sorry. I can't do your film. And I know you've been writing the part with me in mind. And that was like since the previous summer. I'm like, oh my gosh, where's my lead guy going? So I'm like, okay, I'll try to find somebody else. And then, I talked to a friend of mine who's another guy who has name and with big in the indie scene. So I had 2 leads. The guy left, and then the other guy came on, and he's like, yeah, I totally want to work with you again. And I want to work with the lead actress. She's awesome and all of that. So we have the reading that Chicava mentioned, and Maria was in the whole time. Maria was always in. Because Maria and I met, I think Maria, you and I met for lunch last year, and you said, oh, I'm acting, so, give me anything. So I was like, okay, Maria's perfect for this. Because I just saw, remnants of Maria in what we could do. And I thought, that if Maria just brings Maria, she'll be fine. And so Chicava had given me that call last fall. And I know Chicava, we're connected, so it wasn't going to be like I haven't heard from her in a long time or whatever. So then we did have a reading a month before we shot. And by that time, I brought on a co-screenwriter, Craig T. Williams, who's fantastic. And he told me, he said, you are now with a script that's $130,000 trying to film it on 30 grand. And he said, this is what I can do with the script. It's going to make it a little more urgent, but I think it's going to get your characters to where they want to be. And he did this rewrite that brought everything into one day. All the action and events of the script were going to be in one day. And it got, like I said, it got very dark. It got very serious. And the lead actress,
Oh, it's so juicy.
actually
It was so
in a
juicy.
supporting role because
Yes,
Craig was like, he's like, I can't.
Will you go back a little bit, Nicole? Your audio went fuzzy.
Okay. With Craig, when he changed, so Craig turns in this script to me, but I didn't distribute it yet because he calls me right before I was getting ready to distribute it to the previous actress we had as the lead. And again, she had a supporting role to the male lead. And he said, I've been up all night. What if we did something really crazy? I'm like, I'm good for crazy. What's on your mind? He said, why don't we switch the roles? She plays now the CEO and the guy comes in. So when that role switch happened, it became a very dark role and it was different. And
hang in there, folks. We're going to make this
the
through.
actress we had in mind. I don't know if she didn't have the time or the schedule. She was backing off, and it was pretty clear.
Just let her go through.
So, and I could take it there. Yeah, I said Chicava could probably take it there. And I was like, Chicava, what are you up to? Because I knew that she would naturally fit into this role. It became a bigger role, but she was the boss. And Chicava is the boss. She's a boss in her regular life with her troupe. And I just saw that she could do it.
Okay.
I'm laughing because Hillary is so intense and it's so funny that she's like, oh, Chicava can do it.
Yes.
I don't know what it says about me.
Well, I thought that she could walk right in, and anyone who has seen the rough cut says, your lead actress is amazing. And as I told Chicava the other night, they comment on the entire cast, because even if somebody had they're not really any tiny roles, but if somebody had a tiny role, they all just brought it. And they said, the cast, everybody in the cast was amazing. that lead actress, that was her role, you know. And it's like, yay, because you knew the steps to get here. I had people jumping ship. And then I remember I had that one phone call from Chicava. I'm like, you're on.
I know.
I was 30 days
How about
for
we
you.
just stop what you were going to do for the next 6 weeks? And yeah, that's what we did. Right.
I've got a conversation piece for Maria. I've got a
It's a perfect
conversation
cast.
piece for Maria and Chicava. For both of you, was your role hard for you to get into? And what did being in your, if anything, teach you about your acting abilities?
I think the second part of the question.
The second part of the question is, what did your role, if anything, teach you about your acting abilities that you may not have known or not been familiar with?
Okay. Do you want me to go first, Chicava? Mine's not going to be that long. Well, first of all, Nicole created this really detailed bio of the character Cheryl, which was so helpful. It was, it gave me a clearer vision of what she, as the director, saw for the character, and it gave me a good jumping off point. So that helped me a lot. And as far as working with Chicava was wonderful. I mean, she gave me, I mean, when you're acting with someone who gives you something to respond to, that makes it so much easier. And the thing that I learned about myself, and I hadn't acted in a role where I needed to really get emotional to the point where I had to cry. I realized that I could do that. So I think I learned how to do that, I guess. And I had to do it several times for several takes. So I was grateful for the opportunity that I was able to teach myself, I guess, again, how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was great working with Chicava.
Chicava, what about you?
I think I learned a lot about moving from like holding the space inside myself from simmer to boil, from simmer to boil, to steaming to boil, to simmer to boil. Because there's really there's so few chill moments for Hillary on this really long day. And I'm glad we shot it in a compressed amount of time, because I don't know, it made the journey kind of like not like really, it capsuled the journey. So I wonder what it is like when you do something like so intense, like the toll. I remember that Sharon Stone's role in Casino, like they've had so much money, you know, and they had so much time to shoot that movie, and she was in so many dark places in that movie. And I think that moving in and out of these spaces with a little more levity and speed that you have when you have no money was actually kind of good, because I don't know if I would want to stay there a lot. But then the muscles, your skills change. Like, I also don't know the actor that I am now yet. You know, I found out the actor that I've become through the role, but I am excited to see the fruit that Hillary bears in me and my craft. So.
Great. Nicole, you know these ladies before this project, and now you know them after this project. What can you say to them? What were things that you saw that you didn't see at the beginning?
To me, they're the same. I saw it. I don't know what it was. I saw it, you know. And if somebody says, I don't think anybody did say about, oh, well, actually somebody said about Maria. They're like, I didn't know Maria was acting. because Maria's been a longtime producer and filmmaker. And I said, yes. They're like, she was great. You know, I think it was our editor. So I didn't, and it was somebody. It was, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's so funny. But yeah, there is nothing that I could say, wow, I didn't think they could do that. So I don't know. That's kind of a difficult question. I'm looking forward to both of them doing more in the future for sure. And that's the thing. That's so frustrating about great performances and having a project that's greenlit. You know, with specific actors that it's a once in a while thing versus them being the it girl. Each of these ladies are going to have blocks to be the it girl.
That's good.
You know, whether it's they're not in their 20s, whether it's because one is, you know, not white, you know, that kind of thing. So you just hope that there's enough roles out there that they can keep working.
That's one of the
terrific.
fun parts of my re-entry into acting now after 10 years, basically only doing burlesque. I feel like so many, like Shonda Rhimes, Kerry Washington, Viola Davis, all these ladies have been doing so much heavy lifting. There's like, when I got sucked into burlesque, it was just for something creative I could control, because I was constantly trying to be what somebody was looking for as an actor. And so it's like I go away and I'm watching all this great TV and all these great movies, and I get to come back and it's so different. The industry is different from 2008. There's so many outlets. There's so many different, there's so much content. And there's so many women of color and Black women especially driving content and making content. It's just, it was worth the wait, let me tell you. You know?
Yeah, it is an interesting time. I hope
think
it
can't
continues.
help
Maria,
because there's too many outlets.
Yes.
So Maria, correct me if I'm wrong, but most of your time in this industry has been spent as a director. Was it difficult? And I know you mentioned before, but going in front of the camera instead of being behind the camera, so to speak.
Well, the things that I had directed were just documentary or nonfiction. So I never directed a scripted project. I really enjoy bringing the character to life. Like I said, I was doing it periodically over the past 10 to 15 years, so I never really went away from it fully. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I really, I forgot the question, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, just asking.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy
from directing to being on camera.
I really enjoy bringing a character to life and as telling part of the story, just being a small part of telling a story. Dr. Vibe, are you there? I don't see you.
I'm going to try. I am here.
Okay.
I am here. Okay. Can you hear me? I'm going to.
I can hear you.
Try to do something. Okay, Nicole has been so kind to give us a clip from the film. I am going to try and play it via screen share. So just bear with me, folks, and see if we can make this happen. Okay. Okay. On.
This is a clip that still needs to be finessed as far as color correction and sound mix, but it's a fun one.
You gotta love the technology.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna try one more time to bring up the clip here. Okay. All right, screen share.
We don't have it. We could. Oh, he might do it. We don't have it. We could always play it from Nicole Films on our Facebook group.
Pardon the production mess behind. Oh.
Okay. What's wrong with you? Yeah.
It's crazy in here right now.
Is this your dressing room?
And I just we're on chit chat. I had to like run to storage and
Yeah,
we all have water. We need drinks. We need real drinks next time, Dr.
Oh, I have my cider. I just thought it would be unprofessional. Cracker from the cider.
Where's our Toronto cracker beer?
Like, it's cider time over here. I finished 7,000, really almost 8,000 word essay today.
Now what? Congratulations.
Oh, wow.
Okay, can everyone see me? Okay.
Yes.
For some reason, I'm not able to activate screen share. It's a little, it's not being user friendly. So what I want to ask is, for each one of you in this project, what can you share a special moment you had during this project?
Mm.
Mm.
And I said,
why is it I'm shaming
those Cubs.
And one day the caterer made pigeon peas and rice, and it just set my heart aflame. I took the
end of it.
I packed.
That's all
I couldn't.
Talking about.
I took
pigeon peas and rice.
You don't understand. It's so culture specific. It's so specific.
Oh my God.
They were
50 times
good.
Say this. 50.
I think, we had great food. We had great catering from the Weekend Spot. Shout out to the Weekend Spot from Newark, New Jersey. And my friend Chris.
It
was very good food.
Yeah. Excellent food. And my friend Chris came up for the weekend to give the Weekend Spot a break. And he's a chef out of DC, Chris Dinwiddie. And so he came up, and he's also an actor.
Yum.
And he came up to donate his time to this too, which was awesome. And I think the food was the best part. But you know what? We worked with a school, and all the students had to be done by 6. They were not working past 6 o'clock. So I think walking out at 6 o'clock with some sun still left, maybe that was a good day. We only shot for 8 days. So.
And remember, Pokemon Go broke during the film.
Oh.
Remember? So there would be these moments where people would be just MIA playing Pokemon Go.
This is true.
We had an interesting, Chicava and I had an interesting night on my last night there. She treated me and a few of the other girls to a free burlesque dance lesson.
Oh,
time.
Yeah, nothing to do with the set. Those were our best moments.
We all had our clothes on. Don't worry about that.
And we were in a convent.
We were in a convent. We were staying in.
We did. We stayed in a convent.
Come on, in a convent.
Yeah, we were next door in a convent. It was very basic.
Oh,
But it's okay.
All right.
I'm named after a nun. Yeah, I can show you. And this is who I just finished eating today. This is who I'm named after. This is my guardian angel.
Oh, really?
okay.
So,
Oh,
yep. So I'm totally allowed to do striptease in convents.
Okay.
Because she was a nun in a convent for prostitutes and fallen women during the Spanish Inquisition. Can you
That was
I'm getting a history.
No.
She was a miracle worker.
Oh my. Let me ask you, getting a little serious here about what this situation in the workplace that Title VII focuses on. How much did you people learn about this? Because I know it exists, but you actually acted it out. Have you experienced this personally in the workplace? And did any of those past incidents or feelings come to your heart and head while you were doing Title VII?
I
I'll let
have
you
a
guys go
fashion
first.
background, so I've seen so much inappropriateness. The fashion industry can be like the wild, wild west. Things are a lot more corporatized now, but yeah, there is a lot of just, I mean, I had a boss that referred to the head of production as "get that Nazi," like, but it was okay. Just because he was German,
Yes.
and it was remarkable. I think there's less tolerance for it now. It's more enlightened time, but I did it like, so I was like, oh, that's not so bad. There was this time that ... I told a lot of stories like that.
Well, as Nicole knows, I had to deal with some sexual harassment early on. I actually remembered 3 different times over the course of my different jobs, but the one that impacted me the most was I was in my early 20s, and I was a very naive early 20s young lady, and I was working late, which I often did at this particular job. My boss was a senior executive at the company, and we were alone in the office. And he played a promotional video that we had to go sit in this other office. After it was over, he looked me in the eye, he took my hand, and he said, well, would you want to go back to work, or do you want to go make love? Well, I was like shocked. I didn't know what to say.
Wow.
I was like floored. I was stunned, and so I just, pulled my hand back, and I said, I got to get back to work. And I ran out of the room, and I was mortified. And I could not look at him the same after that. And I just wanted to get out of that job, but I loved where I was working. So I don't know if it was the next day or a couple of days later, I was too ashamed to tell anybody. I never told anybody for a very long time. And I'm not going to say where I was working, but I went to human resources, and I just said, I really would like a transfer. I'm kind of like not liking this kind of sales kind of atmosphere. I'd like something more interesting. And they just happened to have another opening across the hall in a different department, which was advertising. And I'm like, yes, I would love that. So thankfully, I was able to make a transfer to, another job, another boss who was a doll. And I was able to get out of that situation. But there's no way I could have stayed and worked for him. I mean, he was married, he had 2 children, and he did this. I don't get it. So, and then fast forward, well, I don't know how long you want me to talk about it, but I've had a couple of things. Do you want to just hear that one, or do you want to hear more? That's enough.
I think that's enough. But you know what? I have to thank you for being so transparent. It's appreciated, and it's an issue that's very prevalent in our society, and I'm glad that Nicole has stepped out of her comfort zone and a lot of people's comfort zone to address this issue via film, because it has to be addressed.
Yeah, and I think also for me it was about same race discrimination and having a superior when I was 19 just totally invite me to leave the job, you know, and she wouldn't say why. And I was working at an all-Black company and very excited that I was working at this powerful company in a very prominent part of a downtown area of a very prominent city. And I thought I fit in just fine. And she absolutely hated me, had me believe that all the other people in the office hated me. And so I had to go to work thinking, no one likes me. Okay, but I have 2 more months here. I'm gonna do my job. And then if I just had one bit of, whoo, what a good day, she would just knock it down. And it was a really tough way to work when somebody says, nobody wants you here. And I didn't get a chance to tell my superior over her about it until I wrote a letter when I left, because it was just an internship. I wasn't after her job. I probably wasn't going to come back. I mean, I was going to go do other things, maybe come back to that company, but she just wanted no part of me even considering it. And when I told the vice president what happened in writing, the good and the bad, I was advised to talk about the good and the bad, she was in shock. She was like, I would not have given this person a double promotion if she knew how she was if I knew how she was badgering you every day and treating you like crap. And that doesn't represent us. And I was really glad to hear that. So you think there's a family feeling, a family atmosphere at an all-Black company, and you're quickly knocked down. And so when I read Daisy Jenkins' book and it brought that component back to all the other discrimination that was going on in the office, that really struck me. I think, unfortunately, as women, a lot of us have gone, been at the brink of what Maria described too. What she described was terrible, and I hope that for anybody else that they go through that. But there's all kinds of things that are inappropriate that hopefully, people can now discuss and go and get legal action for if they are not having a good day at work. We're calling the hashtag Justice on the Job, Title VII Film, tell us your story and get your voice heard.
Well, and one of the things I really appreciate you too, Nicole, in addressing in this film is that the same race discrimination in the workplace. People need to realize that discrimination is not between sexes, but it also can be amongst one of the same race. So I give you kudos for doing that, because it's an important issue to be addressed. What sort of reaction have people had about you addressing this type of issue, whether they're brand new people or people that have followed you for a long time?
Oh, thanks, Dr. Vibe. I always like to bring the taboos out in the open. Why not? Why not? And then, yeah, I mean, it's got to be tough for people to swallow it if they come really clean with it, because I think thousands, if not millions, have gone through it. The same statistics are showing up in the Department of Labor statistics since like the 60s of no movement, no mobility for certain races. But if they talk about, they don't talk about same race discrimination being a part of that. So that's interesting. The lack of manager roles. Hey, Maria, Maria's back.
Sorry.
And she's in a different position now. So awesome. So yeah, so it's, the lack of management roles that go to people of color too. How much are we playing a part of that against our own? So I think it'll open up a lot of discussions, and we actually really want to tour Title VII with town halls. We're going to hopefully look for a sponsor to do that, to play the film, or even just play, a half hour of the film, so we can have these discussions with unions, with people who want to be in a union, with people who just want a good day at work, and they're going to organize and say, hey, let's get together, and this film can help us open these issues up.
Well, Maria, thanks for coming back. There is a question from Junior Garcia. He says, with elections coming up, how much have they seen their industry affect the outlook or perspective of their community when it comes to, I guess, discrimination in the workplace? I don't think I've heard a thing about discrimination in the workplace during this election. Correct me if I'm wrong. So maybe this film will address that to the wider public, because I'm not seeing a lot of it being addressed. What about in your industries, ladies? Does Title VII, is it an educator for your industry?
Yeah, our industry is always talking about it now. It's the hot button topic called diversity. So that's what that's how they make it nice and sugary. We want more diversity, and then you still go on a set and there's no diversity. There's barely any women behind the camera, and forget if you're a woman of color. So, and I'm talking in the industries that pay a lot of money, like the Hollywood industry. Now in the independent space, we're out there, we're rocking it, and this is an independent film, and we had an all-female camera crew. We just had some women in charge, which was great, and the film got done in 8 days. So we're doing pretty well in the independent space, but where we can really make a difference in the industry, in that we're mass marketed and the money gets behind us, it's still a struggle. And yeah, there's been legislation. I don't know if it's been talked about so much in the presidential campaign, but there's been legislation by our unions, in particular, the Directors Guild and the Producers Guild has hopped on the case as well. And there was actually a lawsuit being filed against companies if they do not look for women and diverse creatives to be a part of the team. So people are getting serious about it, which is great. I think one of the parties running for election is really promoting fair wages, which is awesome. And we have the gig economy. So it is talked about a lot as far as what the young people have to look forward to when they start working. Is it going to be a full-time job with pennies? Probably not. Here's how to work around it and make it fair work for all. But I think my colleagues here could probably talk more about casting couch issues. I don't get those. I don't act anymore, but so.
Unfortunately, I did have a casting couch series, but I'm gonna go there. This is awful. It actually turned me off to wanting to go on any auditions, and I was I was young, and it just put a bad taste in my mouth for even being an actress for a while. So I actually stayed away from it for a while. I was traumatized by that as well. I don't know. I guess I just had a run of bad luck with that stuff, or it's just more prevalent than people thought. I haven't had any experiences recently. I'm talking about, the 80s or whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I think that there's a general higher bar for women and what we're going to take. I think that it's like, we're just like, and no, that's just not going to fly anymore.
Right.
I hope things go her way, which is my way on next Tuesday. I hope things go her way. And it's like coming out of the closet. We are not going back. I think it's just so much fun. Like, there's so many great videos. There's this one viral video right now for a fake vitamin called Smile. It's like, why aren't you smiling, Jeannie? You should be smiling when you hand me this piece of paper. And she takes a pill and goes into madness smile. Like, why do women have to smile? Why do I have to constantly it's just become this skin we're shedding. There's just so many things that we're just not going to be available for doing. anymore. You know, resting bitch face is like the new normal. No one's gonna smile. You don't get to say anything you want to me when I walk down the street, just because, like, what if I said, "How are you today, pretty? Would you like some of my sunshine?" Nobody wants all that. We just want to go to work or you know. And I think that so to me, I think Title VII is coming along at a time when women especially are just not having some stuff. And in the spaces of, like, there's a lot of, it's fun and entertaining, but it's politically correct. Like, I'm especially thinking of Ariel's character and just it's just wrong. Wrong. The things that come out of his mouth, and when they're okay, like on TV in a film, it's interesting and entertaining. But if it's going on in the office, then like people are going to feel away about things he said, because it's going to reflect on experiences they've had, you know, and they're like, well, I don't like, that made me feel away that he would talk about somebody like that. And the other day, somebody at my job talked about somebody like that, and I feel different. And I'm like, you know, so I think a lot of people will see the film and for all the various issues be like, oh yeah, I'm going through mine. It looks like this, looks like X, Y, and Z at my job. I think it's going to be very relatable for the microaggressions on all sorts of Title VII issues.
How come Title VII, the legislation itself, isn't brought up more in our day today? Because the discrimination at the workplace is still going on. Why aren't we hearing about it? Why do you ladies feel we're not hearing about it more?
I think people have forgotten about it, but I was so excited at the detriment of the victims. I was so excited when the bathroom law, I believe it was in North Carolina, I don't want to be misrepresenting, but I think it was when you guys remember over the summer when they was called the bathroom law. If transgenders could use the male or female bathrooms, or why are you designating bathrooms? And then people were like, it goes back to Title VII. I was like, woo! You know, hey, there we are out on the open, bringing it back to the forefront soon, because it's not left the books, you know, since 1964. And some people want to use that for keeping bathrooms, male and female. And then it's like, no, we have to use, you know, have bathrooms available for all. So it's part of the discussion, but I think it'll be part of a lot of discussions too. Title IX is a lot more popular, you know, federally funded and university funded sports, things like that. But Title VII, I think we're going to bring it back into popularity.
Excellent. And unfortunately, we only have 4 squares. We could only have 2 other members of the cast on. But would anyone like to shine some light on the other grades of the cast? I know, Nicole, you can. It sounds like it was an all-star cast. What was it like to work with them, and how spectacular were they?
Yeah, shout out to everybody. Katie Carpenter's on with us. Hey, Katie. And she was fantastic. She worked at the library that we filmed at. So she was available to me during location scouting and mentioned that, you know, she acted for a while in her earlier years. I said, oh, we'll find, you know, something. And she did rehearsals with us when we were on set, and the cast was like, where's Katie? Bring her on, let's give her a role. And so I think Chicava had suggested some lines. So that was terrific. She was our last edition. We have the talented Fidel Vicioso, who stepped in as Daryl, and that role is so complex. And when he and I met, again, within that 30 days that we had to shoot, I mean, I had to replace my male role, and he and I talked for 90 minutes the first time we met on the phone. he just had so many notes and he got it. And he said, and here's where I believe he just went through the script line by line, and it was just amazing. And I think what's cool about what he and Chicava do as the two leads, this is what I'm hoping, because I like to watch movies like this, is when you finish the movie, you say, I got to see that again. You know, and then you just put it back in and run it from the top. So that would be awesome. We have a talented Brandon who's been popularized in The Wire and all kinds of things with that fabulous deep voice of his. He came up for a day. He was in a play and he only had Mondays off. So he came up for a day to do this very intense role, you know, that was just like, it's the crux of the movie. And I know Chicava mentioned, you know, the script started for me when his character walked on set. And so that's when I was like, yeah, I mean, this is a very part of her character's life. And he came in and we only had one day with him. And as our DP, Sabelle Martin, shout out to Sabelle, she told Brian, she said, the crew really stepped up their game when you came on. And so he's very recognizable, and that voice was amazing. Ariel Estrada, who played Sam, the smarmy Sam, the disgusting, weaselly Sam, fantastic. And oh my gosh, Maria's friend, Cal Gladen, who came on as Michael. We couldn't have done it without him. He's another guy who came on, I think, a week before. And he had been at the reading, but he didn't know. We didn't know that we had to recast, and we did. And he came on a week before, and he brought his own imagination to it. And it just, the way I'm looking at him now when I watch the film, it's like he could have changed the whole tone of the story. I think everybody that watches is going to pick their person. And we have the talented Beata Harju, who I've known since she was a kid. Now she's this beautiful young woman who plays the administrative assistant who is constantly hit on. It's gross, but she did such a great job, you know, because she couldn't fight back, but you know, in real life she would have. But it was fantastic. And who else? We have John Crandall, who played the police officer. We have a very tense moment to start off Hillary's day before she gets to work. She encounters a police officer, and it's going to be very reminiscent of today's news cycle and harassment, except this time it's a woman, so the whole say her name argument is going to come up with that. And I'm sure I'm missing someone. Celestine, who plays Bianca, beautiful, talented, and in a role. I mean, she did amazing. She came through my co-screenwriter Craig. So we just had some fantastic people. I think I got everybody. I have to count, but because we had 9 main ones. Lisa Durden. I think I got everybody. With Maria Chicava. You guys continue talking while I think of who. I did, Michael.
Let me ask, ladies, because we're going to probably close down in the next few minutes. When you look back on your performing career, what would you like the audience to say about your performance in this film, and what is it going to mean to the rest of your career?
Oh gosh, that's pretty lofty.
This film better be good.
Wow.
Oh my God.
You want me to repeat the question?
Don't blame me.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Well,
So let's do it in 2 parts.
okay.
Maria's good to go.
I am. I'm taking a sip of water.
Well, okay.
If you don't mind.
On cue.
Nicole knows what. This is probably why I didn't want to do this.
Wow.
That's a heavy question.
You got it, Maria?
First of all, I don't feel my role is that a large of a role, although it is a supporting role for Chicava's character. I just feel like I hope that I portrayed this woman in the most real sense, and people feel that she's real.
Okay.
And like I said before, she helps tell this story. She's a part of it, and an important part of it. And at the end, well, I guess I'm not going to tell you about the end, but she does come to a conclusion about what she first thought Chicava was, Hillary, the character Hillary, and then she had to unfortunately realize she was something else and make a decision from that. As far as my career, I'm hoping this is a stepping stone. Like I said, I haven't really done feature film. This is my first large role in a feature, and I'm hoping it's the first of many, and I would just love to keep working. Thank you.
Well done. You're welcome. Chicava?
Yeah, I would like to do more projects. I would like to work more. I had really, one of my favorite villainesses is actually the character from the British version of Footballers' Wives. And so that got me going. This got me like a taste of why I think that's so fun. But I just want to get the opportunities to try new stories to tell, to let new characters come through my body. When all said and done, I hope that Title VII is a film that makes a difference for people, that people enjoy. It's a very fast-paced film, and I think in that way it was very much on the zeitgeist of how people are taking stories in now. So yeah, I hope it creates terrific opportunities. I definitely want to keep acting more. I had missed it, and it was a very scrumptious opportunity. Nicole is selfieing. We see you.
Yes, I know. No, she's taking a picture of the screen.
Is she?
I think.
I love it. I like the
Yeah. You gotta get the social media out there.
You got
She
it.
can
So,
multitask.
Nicole, what would you like? Yes, I know. Nicole, what do you want the legacy of Title VII to be? And that's when she froze. Okay. Nicole?
Oh,
Okay, I think she's frozen again.
Oh.
hear you.
I'll just wait to see if it gets back.
You hear me?
Looks like a
Come on, Nicole.
oh, she's frozen.
Okay.
There she is.
Come on. There, okay. All right, there we go.
Back now.
So
Okay, the legacy of Title VII.
yeah,
is that
Yes.
we dared to go there. We dared to go there and come along for the ride. As far as filmmaking, I'm conducting workshops now, how to film a feature in 8 days, because it's so important that the short films are not the calling cards anymore. You have to do a feature, and it's very unfortunate for people who don't have the means. And I want to share with people how it's possible. So I'm actually conducting workshops on that. So that meant a lot about this film, is that we did it in 8 days, and we came out with a product that is absolutely, I think, very impressive, absolutely necessary for many reasons, just the filmmaking itself. The meaning behind it, the being behind Title VII. I just hope a lot of people can now come out of the darkness, you know, enjoy going to work. You're going to spend most of your days of your life at this job, and you have rights. It's so important when they see this to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna speak up, and I deserve everything that's afforded to me, and cannot let somebody else ruin my day, because this film is about a very bad day at work. and no one should have to go through something like this. And all of us have, because of some microaggressions, you know, from the top and some awful policies. But no more, no more. There's no reason. Life is too short.
Well, before we let everyone go, I'd like to say thank you very much to each one of you for taking time out of your positive, productive schedule. Nicole, if people want to find out more about Title VII, where can they go?
They can go to my website, NicoleFranklin.com/cine, short for cinema, CINE. You can go to any of our Facebook pages. I think the actresses are talking about it, which is great. We have a Facebook group. The group is called Nicole Films. Please follow the hashtag anywhere and everywhere, Title VII Film. And you will find us, you'll find out how to watch the film. We're going to premiere in a festival either late January or February. We're going to release that news in the next couple of months. We're so excited because once we release in the festival, I have a feeling we're going to be everywhere, screening somewhere every week. So I'm going to put that hope out there, and can't wait for the premiere to happen. Once the premiere happens, you know, invite us to your town. Hashtag Title VII Film. You'll find us, again, NicoleFranklin.com. And Facebook, join our group, Nicole Films. Join our group. We want 10,000 members in the next year to be talking about us.
Well, that is it. Ladies, thank you so much again for taking the time. It's appreciated and not taken for granted. I am Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the Dr. Vibe Show. It's host of Epic Conversations and the home of Epic Conversations. I am, as always, I'd like to say that if you want to touch base with me, it's Twitter at DRVIBESHOW. Email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow, and the website address is www, and I'll type it in here, drvibeshow.com. Always, you're blessed, highly favored, you're a magnet for miracles, and you're a solution for someone's problem. Ladies, as we say, walk good. Thank you so much for everything you do and doing.
Thank you.
And please stay in touch. Have a great night. God bless. Bye.
Thanks, Dr. Vibe.